Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of My 2 Cents, where I cover non-crypto related topics such as pop culture, sports, finance, and automotive. And my song today is from that Rick Ross album, Better You Than Me, and it's I Think She Like Me. I love this song with Ty Dolla $ign on it. But I hope you guys are doing all right today. Today's article is going to be out of Zero Hedge. And man, you know, technology, many of us haven't really felt the brunt of how technology will disrupt the workforce. Many of you still have those posh office jobs, and even some of those who aren't as fortunate, we really haven't seen, I think, what technology is going to do to the workforce yet. It's coming. We're seeing incremental changes and effects, but not how it's really going to hit us. I saw this and I'm like, gosh, technology is even hitting the disruptive gig economy, and it's just part of economics. It's part of this capitalistic system we live in. We always tout, you know, how great capitalism is, and it is, but everything has its pros and cons, and don't get it wrong, capitalism has many cons. And so today we're going to look at this article out of Zero Hedge. Uber drivers make $9.20, half of what they earned 4 years ago, just 4 years ago. So the article starts off by saying that drivers who work for Lyft and Uber have seen their earnings cut in half from where they were just 4 years ago, according to a new study which found that drivers earned 53% less in 2017 than they did in 2013. The report was prepared by JP Morgan Chase Institute and was based on payments that were directed to 2.3 million families. Drivers made $783 per month in 2017 versus $1,469 per month in 2013. On a per month basis, about half of the drivers who worked for Uber and Lyft made $900 or more in the first quarter of 2014. However, in the first quarter of 2018, less than 25% of drivers were able to earn $900 per month. That's crazy. The report concludes that the drop is either due to less hours driving or a growing number of drivers, i.e. competition. I think it's both. But also you got to remember, Uber is eventually, really soon, going to even eliminate their drivers, which is crazy. I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see Uber and Lyft all transition over to these autonomous driving systems. The article goes on to say these declines in monthly earnings among drivers may reflect the fact that the growth in the number of drivers could have put downward pressure on hourly wages. They may also reflect a potential decline in the number of hours drivers are driving. Another report published by the Economic Policy Institute claims that Uber drivers typically end up earning just $9.21 per hour after fees and other expenses were accounted for. And so just to stop really quickly there, man, you know, I remember when Uber really started hitting the scenes, not here in the city, in my city. We were kind of late to the whole Uber thing, but as I traveled over the years for business and stuff, I noticed, like, I would go to a city and come back to the city another year and a half later, and the rules have changed. The local governments have put mandates and fees and all these strict restrictions on what you can and can't do, and you know, that's an added tax to not only the driver but also Uber. So that really, and of course they pass that on to the driver. So ultimately the driver is hurt the most. Their bottom line is hurt the most. The convenience of being able to work whenever drivers want has so far continued to outweigh the decline in salary, it seems. And the far-reaching effect of these less regulated on-demand driving services still seems to be prominent. We've reported over the past few years about a number of taxi driver suicides in New York as a result of the cost of medallions dropping. Medallion prices have plummeted as a result of the popularity of services like Uber and Lyft. In June, we reported that Abdullah Saleh, a 59-year-old cabbie, hung himself in his Brooklyn apartment Like many other New York taxi cab drivers, Salih was having trouble paying for the cost of his medallion, the value of which has likely collapsed in recent years. His business partner, who had reportedly ditched him to drive for Uber, stated that though he had been short in his weekly medallion payments in the past, one of his payments prior to his suicide fell much shorter than the others. Later in August, we followed up with a report that the city had approved a cap on Uber drivers and had set a minimum wage. It says New York City Council dealt a political blow to Uber and other app-based car-for-hire companies by approving a one-year industry-wide cap on new ride-hail licenses and giving the city tax and limo commission authority to set minimum pay standards for drivers. The council voted against a similar cap proposed by Mayor Bill de Blasio 3 years ago after Uber mounted a television ad campaign and mobilized drivers and customers to oppose it. App-based licenses have since increased to more than 80,000 from 12,000 and provide 17 million rides per month, according to the City Tax and Limo Commission. Council Speaker Corey Johnson said earlier that the regulations are intended to protect drivers, fairly regulate the industry, and reduce congestion. Yeah, they always say it's all under the guise of protecting the end user, right? That's what they always say. But what I really want to drive home with this article, capitalism, we're at a certain point in, I think, our society, especially here in America, because we lived on the fat of the land for so long, for 50 plus, 60 plus years. Things are changing. Technology is eliminating human capital, and you've got these governments fighting. They're just trying to fight the transition with technology, new innovative ideas, and it's sad because it really is going to stifle growth. I was watching this documentary about Shenzhen, a district or a region in China, man, and you know, they have grown, I should say, by, I think this is the fastest growing region we've ever recorded. And the reason is because they allow open source sharing of ideas and free of regulation. You know, these types of pushbacks by local governments and even on the federal level is really going to slow down innovation here in America. I just read a stat that tech unicorns, the Googles, the Facebooks, Instagrams, Ubers, Lyft, those unicorn numbers are down from 45% to 26%, I believe. And so it's just a growing trend, I think is really accelerated by regulation. On top of that, you know, we've got, again, an issue with, and it's not really, it's no one's fault. It's just the cost of living has increased so much, guys, that technology, like, we're forced to be very innovative. I'm now seeing these scooter things out in downtown areas, and I saw some in San Fran. We got them here in Detroit. I've seen them in Chicago. But scooters, these little scooter pads are going to even disrupt the Uber driver a little bit. Not, I don't think it's, you know, because weather, it depends on weather and all of that. But, you know, you're getting to the point where is technology going to just hit that apex, that point of like no return? In AI they call it the singularity. Like, we're getting to the point with tech that it's just insane, and no one's gonna be able to work because technology is gonna drive all of the jobs out. I mentioned while I was reading the article that you know, Uber is even looking into starting autonomous driving at some point. You know, Google is really heavy into that space, and it's only a matter of time where your next Uber ride will be an autonomous vehicle, and it won't even be a human being. So where do those gig economy, young millennials, and even older individuals, where do they go? Like, where do they earn a living? A flexible living, because the pensions, the job force that we knew growing up has been disrupted to the max. So we no longer have those cushy jobs that we can bank on having for 30 years. So I don't know. You guys let me know, what do you see with this whole gig economy and technology, specifically relating to this article? Like, what do you guys see the future for Ubers, Lyfts, You know, we got birds now, these little scooter things and limes. How is that going to disrupt what we have today as workers for Uber and Lyft? Are they going to be greatly impacted? And would drivers be making more money if regulation weren't so rampant and restrictive? Or is regulation helpful? You guys let me know your thoughts on that. I would love to know. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And that's it for my 2 cents today. It's your boy Crypto Blood. I'm out. Holla.